Welcome back to Algebra 1. We are talking about Algebra 1. This is Chapter 4, Coordinates and Scatter Plots. So that's all fancy math talk for graphing. We're going to do graphs. Now, I will do messy graphs on the board. I want you to use graph paper, use a ruler, make things straight and neat and beautiful. Graphs are like our art in math, and they need to look great. So invest in your education. I got my pack of graph paper at Dollar General for $1. So you can get some graph paper. There is free graph paper you can download and print, but the printer ink's too expensive. You need to just go buy a pack of graph paper. All right, so this is, when we first started learning this, we learned about the number line. So the number line is like just the x-axis of your graph. But now we are adding another dimension, and we're going to have the y-axis to the graph. So this is like a piece of graph paper. Imagine there's all these lines going down and over also. All right? So when I learned this, I had a terrible concussion. I'd been in a really bad horse accident, and I saw double for over a month, and I had such a hard time. So I'm sure you're going to do better. But every part of this was so hard for me. So I'll try to make it easy for you. All right, so the fancy math word for this piece of graph paper that we're going to graph things on is called the coordinate plane. If you have it with the big plus sign on it, these are the axis, the x-axis and the y-axis, it divides it into 4 sections. These 4 sections are called quadrants, and by tradition they are written in Roman numerals. This is why you had to learn Roman numerals. This is quadrant 1, 2, 3, and yes, you guessed it, 4. Ta-da! And notice it goes counterclockwise starting right there. And that actually has something to do with trigonometry. So we'll learn about this sort of circle I drew going counterclockwise like that when you get to trig. So see, look, isn't that fun? You're starting to learn fancy math. This is fancy math. All right, so those are the 4 sections. So the points we put on the graph paper are called ordered pairs. And they come in the order that what we're going to plot on what's on the x-axis comes first and y comes second. And remember, I had a concussion and had a hard time learning this. So it was so hard for me to remember which was x and which was y. Later on, I figured out that it's in alphabetical order, that x comes before y, so x is before y in the ordered pair. The other thing is, I had such a hard time remembering that this is the y-axis and this is the x. I tell you, every bit of this was beyond hard for me. And how I remembered it is y has a straight down line coming from it, and this is a straight down line. I honestly had to do that to remember this one's y and this one's x. I couldn't remember anything. It was such a bad concussion. All right, so I'm going to show you how to put these points on the graph. So this one is 3, 4. So remember, 3 is the x, 4 is the y. So this, remember, if this was a number line, this would be the origin, that's 0, and this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this would be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, like that. So if we were going to graph this, first on the x, we would go out 3 lines, 3 positive lines to 3. And then because this is positive, this is the positive side of y, this is the positive side of x, this is the negative side of x, and that's the negative side of y. We go up, x is how far out, y is up and down. So we're going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You would count that on your graph paper. So over 3, up 4, you put a dot. And you can label it like this, or sometimes it'll be like this is A. And instead you label it A. Ta-da! See, that's not hard. So let's try this one, 0, 0. Where do you think that one is? It's the origin right there. We'll call that one B, because that way my graph will be better. Okay, -2, -3. So for x, I go negative. That means I'm going to go -1, -2. I go back to the negative side. And -3 means I go down. -1, -2, -3. And that's my dot. Back 2, down 3. And we'll call that one C. Okay, let's do D. This will be our D. D, we go for x, we go back 1. And now we're going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. Put a dot right there. And that's D. Okay, this one can be E. Where it's the x is 2, 1, 2. The y is -3. 1, 2, 3. There's our dot. And there's E. Okay, and here is going to be F. X is 0. That means we don't go up, we don't go back, we stay right where we are. And Y is 3. 1, 2, 3. There's the dot. And there's F. All right. I have a lot of kids who are in Algebra 1 and they've never done this before. So if you've never done that before, it's fun and easy. You'll do great. All right. The next thing is sometimes you don't do the whole piece of graph paper. A lot of times you only do quadrant 1. The reason why, there's a lot of stuff that are never negative. Time is never negative. So distances are not negative. So if you did a time versus distance graph, you would only need this quadrant and your graph could be like that. Another thing is, you can take data, here I have some data, and we can put it on a graph, and it's called a scatter plot. And so I thought we would do one of those. And we're going to do time versus temperature. By tradition, time usually goes on the bottom here, on the x-axis. And we're going to put temperature on the y-axis. You'll learn more about this in science, the dependent and independent variables. All right, so my times that I have are 1 o'clock, but I don't think I'm going to start. I'm going to back it up. And I'm going to make right here in the very beginning 12 o'clock. So then this could be 1 o'clock. This can be 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Now, in between would be 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I say those like 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. There we go. Okay, and then here are our temperatures. Now, I don't need to start at 0 here. So I can show a break in the graph, and I can start my lowest temperature is 63, my highest is 71. So I'm going to make this 60. We'll go 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, 72. That's a pretty good looking graph. Okay, now I can plot these. At my time, at 1 o'clock, my temperature is 71. So that's like halfway in between there. There's a dot. At 3 o'clock, my temperature was, it was higher than I thought. I've got to make my graph bigger. Doop, doop, doop. Sound effects make it more fun. 74, 76. There we go. That's better. Okay, at 3 o'clock, it's 74. At 5 o'clock, it's 68. And at 7 o'clock, is that one 7 o'clock? It's 63. About right there. Now, when you have a scatter plot like this, we don't connect the dots like a dot-to-dot drawing. We leave it like this, and later on I'll show you we're going to do a thing called interpolation and extrapolation. But right now, that's all you do for a scatter plot. So that's easy, right? And fun. It's kind of like getting to draw or do a craft in math class. How cool is that? Math is fun. See you next time.